The Razer Wolverine Tournament Edition is a controller I haven't talked about all that much since my review. I'm a bit of a lazy bastard, but then again, the TE is kind of a simple controller that doesn't really need too much explaining, and I haven't had much to say about it. But it's been 6 months, and today we'll be taking a look at its reliability, its performance in the two main sewer systems that my audience crawls around in, and I'll be talking about some of my updates to my personal opinions about comfort and trigger stops and things like that later on in this video. Quick disclaimer though, over the last couple of months of the TE's life, it hasn't gotten much use simply because I now have as many controllers as there are good tech channels. 9, maybe 10 on a good day, some shit like that. I don't know, let's get started. We're going to discuss things like reliability and stick drift, all the things people have came to this video for at a later point, but I have to update some things and talk about some shit, and you know, don't worry, none of my updated opinions are negative. We're all about positivity on this channel. What are the biggest differences between the last gen Wolverine controllers and the V2? Nothing. In fact, I find myself often having trouble using other buttons while trying to use the paddles, you know, like RB and LB, which is, you know, a little fucking annoying. Starting off with the extra buttons this controller comes with, you have M1 through M4. M1 and M2 are the buttons on the front, and you can customize these as well as M3 and M4, which are on the bottom, through the Razer Controller Setup app for Xbox One on both PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S, or X, or B, or G, or F. I don't fucking know what's going on with your consoles. Now you're getting 2 really nice bottom buttons and 2 front mechanical buttons for about 120 bucks. 4 buttons, 120 bucks, 100 bucks on Amazon.
Now look at this.
I've stated in previous videos that you kind of do need longer fingers to use a controller like this because of the way the buttons on the bottom are placed. However, this isn't really true. People with bitch-made Matchbox-sized hands could very easily use this controller. It just takes a bit of adjusting your fingers so that they're resting in a different place than they would be on a normal controller. Now, when it comes to using these buttons in shooters, because the Wolverine controllers are by far the fastest controllers I've ever used, and yes, I do have a PS5 controller, these things feel amazing, but they only feel amazing if you have proper binds on them. If you have binds on these buttons that make it so you have to also use the bumpers and the triggers at the same time, you're not gonna have a good time. Unless you're smart about your binds, which is what I've done in Modern Warfare. Check it out. But yeah, speed. Speed, speed, speed. These buttons not only feel comfortable, but they are fast as hell. Faster than YouTube UMG copyright claims. My outro was mine, legally. Here's my fucking license, UMG. Suck my cock. The triggers are something I'm very interested in because with the Wolverine controllers, they're very, very light. There's no tension to them, barely any. And when the trigger stops are on, the dead zones on the controller actually change to accommodate this. When the trigger stops are off, you have 100% of your range of your trigger dead zone. When the trigger stops are on, after actuating the trigger to about 10%, it immediately shoots up to 100%, so you get that instant gratification, you know? Why was I doing that? What the fuck is that? The trigger stops are built very, very well, very, very solid. I've never once had a slip. They don't feel cheap, or they don't grind, or feel gunky, or anything like that, and they give you a decent amount of travel, but not too much. Oh, yeah, never too much. Yeah, never too much. The ABXY buttons are something people have bitched about many, many times before, and that's kind of justified. The ABXY buttons utilize what are called Razer's Mecha Tactile switches, aka I'm gonna market you stupid shit so you'll buy my products. They're just mouse switches that feel like, I don't know, what's the toughest key to press? I don't know anything about keyboards. You run into a problem when you have something that requires muscle. It's called, everyone sits inside and plays video games all day. The only muscle is in their jaw because all they do is talk shit. A few quick notes before we move on. Thumbsticks. I've talked about the thumbsticks 1,000 times. You guys know what the deal is. They're super wide, super short, dumb, accurate. And they don't fit control freaks unless they're Xbox 360, or you can use PS4, PS5 control freaks, but you'll need to use sandpaper on them to make them fit. Now, I do have a theory, and I'm just gonna throw it out here to you guys. I haven't seen as many stick drift issues in ratio with the Razer Wolverine Ultimate or the Razer Wolverine Tournament Edition compared to the Elite Series 2. And I think that's for a reason. The Elite Series 2, clearly, it has its problems because of its adjustable thumbstick tension, which I adjust often. Sometimes I want it tighter, sometimes I want it looser. So yeah, mine's already on its deathbed. But the thumbsticks for the Wolverine controllers, as I've said previously in the gayest way possible, they have really, really, really thick thumbstick shafts. Look at this in comparison to an Elite Series 2, or just a normal Xbox One thumbstick shaft. That's really wide. So my theory is that since they're so wide, they actually limit movement enough so that the Alps thumbstick modules last a little bit longer. When you limit the movement, you aren't using it as much, you aren't causing as much wear, tear, and distress on the module, My assumption being that actually helps it last a little bit longer, even if it is a couple of months or even a couple of weeks. Then again, I don't know, man. Just all controllers are dog shit. They're all dog shit. They're not all equally dog shit. They're all dog shit. I think that's it. What's that? I see another category on the horizon. I wonder what it could be. Reliability with the Wolverine controllers is always something I've talked them up about, simply because they are some of the most beefy controllers on the market, and that's no different here. I did have signs of stick drift a couple of months ago, but it's since gone away. I guess my suggestion to avoid stick drift: do not use the thumbstick click actions in any circumstance, and if you have to, use it the least amount possible. And also keep your thumbsticks covered at all times when you're not using your controllers so they don't get dust buildup. Those controllers are there for visuals. What's really weird is when you go on like Amazon and you look at the reviews of these controllers, 90% of the complaints are about the software. You also have a bunch of reliability issues, but the main ones you see are retards who don't understand that there's a separate software for this, and Razer Synapse is not the software you use for the Razer controllers. So I'm here with the embarrassing Razer packaging for the Razer Wolverine Ultimate, and in the manual it doesn't say anything about the actual software. It says focus! It talks about Razer Synapse for Xbox, which I don't actually think that works. Yeah, my bad. You don't use this. Listen to this guy over here. Here's the software. Here it is on the Microsoft Store. It's on the Microsoft Store for both Xboxes and PC. So, yeah, reliability, give it a good thumbs up with this controller, especially at the price that it's offered at, which you can usually find it for lower than its retail price on Amazon, which is fucking awesome. This makes it one of the best controllers of all time, and I'm gonna prove that to you. Let me show you guys some gameplay.
Hard fucking retards, fuck you all.
So hey, it's me from 2 weeks after that last piece of the video was recorded. Don't fucking ask, you don't need to know about it. I'm gonna choose my last words carefully because this is probably the last time I'll be talking about the TE in depth until its 1 year review, or if it fucking dies. But the TE, as I've said, it takes very few words to describe, and it's because it's a simple device. A lot like, well, no, not the Razer Wolverine Ultimate, but you guys get my drift. The TE is a very simple controller that has 4 very unique buttons that, while unique, are still very, very comfortable to use. A very rugged design that Razer apparently tested before this was released. Hope that's true. I mean, they last pretty long. Not that long, though. No controller lasts that long. But most of all, you're getting probably the craziest response time I've ever seen for a controller, which is very, very important for first-person shooters, third-person shooters, any type of intense competitive game, which is why I named this as my #1 most recommendable controller for those type of games. The Razer Wolverine Ultimate would be here if it wasn't immediately written off by its button design on the bottom. You motherfuckers are sleeping on that. You're sitting there with your Elite Series 2 wondering why you're dog shit. It's because you're using paddles. Use this controller, check it out, come back to this channel, and tell me I'm right, alright? I'm just kidding. The Wolverine Ultimate's very, very weird. Only people like me can use it. It's very odd. Your middle finger has to be about that long. I'll be leaving links down in the description to the Razer Wolverine Tournament Edition, as well as my review, my Razer Wolverine Ultimate versus Tournament Edition video, bunch of extra shit down there in the description for you guys if you're curious. You may have noticed we have our members going here. I don't really have time to shout them out individually anymore. There's like 40. I can't fucking believe that shit. Thank you guys so much. If you did go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to drop it the fattest of likes and a very skinny anorexic subscription, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.